Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Michelle and today I've got another little process video for you here showing you how I make paper elements my own. So I find a lot of times we all get access to these beautiful products, especially like Marlene's products, which I obviously use all the time, and all of her design people use the same products. So I sometimes find that things can look the same. So when you're scrolling on Instagram or Facebook and everybody has used this face, then I find that it kind of looks the same, even though we all do different things with them and we all have different backgrounds and whatnot. The image is still the same. So I like to alter them a little bit and to make them just my own. So I've been wanting to use this girl for ages and ages, and this was the day that I decided to do it. And I didn't want to keep her as is, as I said, so I decided to give her some hair. So what I did first of all is I took some masking tape and I just stuck the masking tape down on my little rag there just to remove most of the stickiness or some of the stickiness, and then I stuck my two pages together. So I've got one big surface to work on. Then I glued down my girl with some gel medium, and then I started drawing in her hair. So I did extend it at the top a bit. I pulled her down a little bit, so I lost a little bit of her top, but I wanted to make her head a little bit more complete. So I've drawn in the hair with my Stabilo All pencil, and I'm going with the same colors that Marlene has already used in her hair. So she's got black hair, and there were some blue bits as well in her hair. So I'm extending that using pitch. I used a little bit of Smurf, I think, and I think this is Heaven. And she had a little bit of a gap on her forehead there where the hair didn't come together, and I just painted that in as well, and I'm giving it a little bit, I'm drying it a little bit, and you can already see how she's looking a lot different now. She still looks like Marlene's work, but because she's got that wavy hair, she's already looking a little bit more unique. So I wanted my background to be really soft, and because I really wanted that contrast between the girl and the background. And I started putting my paint down, and then I realized, oh, wait a minute, I never drew in her shoulder. So I do go back and draw in the shoulder. But while I'm doing that, I'll tell you the colors that I used. I have Hot Pink, which is Marlene's. It's like a blend between orange and pink. It's a neon color. I have Ballet, Happy, and Funky, which is Marlene's neon pink one. I also have Punk, which is the neon purple, and I did try to put out some lace, but my lace paint is almost nearly finished, so I went in with my Amsterdam acrylic instead in white. You could use any white paint. I just put that in because I love blending the white with the neons because it makes a really beautiful bright pastel color. So I'm going in all around my girl, and I'm just blending colors together. I'm being careful not to put purple next to orange, because obviously when I blend those together, it's going to make a brown muddy color. So I'm always using a little bit of pink between the yellow and the purple, and also if there's like an orangey color, I'll use a little bit of pink between purple and orange, just as like a bridging kind of color. And I love this background. I think it looks like she's standing maybe like in a sunset scene with a little bit of wind, so her hair is blowing and it's the sunset, and I just really love the way that these colors turned out. For now, I was happy with the shoulders, But when I looked at it when I was finished, I thought maybe the shoulders were a little bit too broad. But now that I look at it again, I think the shoulders are actually fine. So I did have some doubts there. But it all worked out really well in the end. I really, really love this page. It makes me really happy to open it and see the beautiful background, and also to know that I've made that girl my own. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of reductive stenciling. I'm using this Frantic Deco stencil, and I'm just going in with the yellow, putting it on with my finger, and then I put the stencil over the top and I wipe it away with a baby wipe. And I really liked using the yellow for this because it looked like there was some sunshine popping out from behind her. So once I started, I could not stop. And now I'm just going to use some of my leftover paint there, and I'm just going to make a little bit of mark making here and there. So I'm kind of bringing my mark making out from where I did that stenciling. So there's not too much of a harsh line, even though they're not the same color. Normally I would do it in the same color as the stenciling, but I didn't have any more yellow paint, and I just wanted to use what was left on my palette there. And now I'm going to paint in her shoulders. So to make the whole dress or shirt look cohesive, or like I didn't just paint on an extra shoulder, I'm going over the whole section of her body where Marlene had already drawn in her shoulders and over mine, and now you can see that it looks like it all belongs there from the start. And I wanted to add a little bit of pattern in her dress there, so I got this mandala stencil, and it's got these florally bits on, so I thought that would be perfect to add a little bit of detail to her dress. Of course I wasn't going to leave it just plain. You know me, I want to fill up every little gap there is, so that's what I'm doing there. And I'm just quickly giving everything a little wipe down as I'm going, so as to not get wet paint on the back of my paper where I've already got a project there. Okay, this part was a little bit scary because I really, really love this face. I love that there's some pattern and it looks quite arty and whatever. But again, my mission here was to make this girl my own. So I am actually painting over her face and over her neck, and I'm covering a lot of that pattern work in the background and a lot of the color that Marlene has there. I'm using clotted cream, I'm using sand and desert. Yeah, and I'm just going in, I think, with the clotted cream first, and that's my base layer, and then I'm going in with a little bit of sand as a shading color, and the desert, I can't remember if it, yeah, I think it's desert. It's got like a bit of a pinkish tone to it, and I'm just painting that over the top and giving it all a quick dry. And now you can see how much that face has changed just by doing a simple little step. The flowers at the top there didn't quite extend all the way, so I'm just drawing that in again, and I'm just cleaning everything to make sure I don't stick my page into the paint. And I wanted to add a little bit of shading, so I've got my Inktense pencils out and I'm using some purple, and I'm just doing a little bit of shading on the face, just around the edges where the hair is, under the chin, a little bit into the neck. And there was quite a bit of back and forth with this. The Inktense pencils are new to me, so I'm still learning to use them. And you know, you think it's simple, you just put pencil down and water activate them, but I found the blending it out to be a little bit tricky. So I am going back and forth and trying to make it make sense and make those blended lines, or make the lines look blended and not just a line. I added a little bit pink in her cheeks and some red on her lips, just to boost the colors somewhat. And I'm also going in with a little bit of blue. She originally had blue eyeshadow, and she had some blue shading in her face. And I didn't want to lose completely what Marlene had done. I think I was a little bit careful. Normally, when I do this, I would do it over a magazine image, and then I would just go for it, use a lot of color, and I'd be quite liberal with my shading and change colors up and that. But I was a little bit nervous of messing this up, even though I knew the book had come with a second copy of this girl. So even if I did mess her up, I would have an opportunity to redeem myself at some stage. But I think I managed to do okay. Her top was still a little dull for me, so I'm adding some more color. You know me, more is more. And I'm just using my paint pens. Again, these are Marlene's paint pens. I've got a brush tip, and I'm just putting a little bit onto the flowers and then blending it out with a little bit of a wetter brush. And I did that with a lighter aqua color and also yellow. And then I started with the darker green, but then I thought I want to bring the blue from her hair down into her top as well. So I've actually scribbled some onto my mat, and I've got a tiny little drop of water there that I'm just watering it down and bringing that blue down also. So that looked nice, I think. And to add some texture to the background and a little bit of darkness, I'm going in with this, I think it's called Gibberish stamp, and I'm not putting it on a block. I'm just pressing it into my ink pad and pressing it down so I don't have a blocky impression. Again, just here and there. And then I thought, okay, this background is still a little bit not busy enough for me. So I grabbed the bold words stamp set out and a little bit of neon paint pen, and this is like a mandala kind of shape that Marlene has in there, and I've just pressed it into the paint pen and onto my page. So there's a faint little bit of pattern in the background there, which I really liked. And once I've got that dry, I did get a little bit impatient and I just blotted up some of the puddles. But once I got that dry, I'm now going in with the faffy bit. And this bit I can get lost in, and I do sometimes get lost in it, and I take a very long time with the faffy bit. Sometimes the faffing takes me longer to do than like the background would. I'm extending the little swirls that Marlene had on her hair already, and I've drawn in her earrings again because she had earrings which I just cut off. I'm adding some more color into the flowers and some more highlights, doing highlights in her hair, again using my paint pens, and I've used it in white and black as well. And I just do a little smear of paint pen and then I smoosh it out with my finger to blend it in, and I really like the way that the hair turned out. I don't fancy myself very good with hair, so when I do manage to make hair that looks nice, I'm very pleased with myself. I'm going in with my Posca paint pen, and I'm just going to outline her body, her top, her hair, her face. I'm going to add some details into her face. I'm making the hair come down in front of her face as well. All of these tiny little things just make a page pop. So for me, this is the part that brings it together. Of course, you can leave it as is. There's nothing wrong with it. But I just like to go in and faff and faff and faff. And as you can see, I do have a head. I'm not just hands. So if you're wondering about that, there you go. I have a head as well. I'm going in with some normal coloring in pencils, and I'm just brightening up her eyes again. I drew in her eyelashes. I did forget to do the eyebrows on camera. So I did that afterwards when I'd already done taking pictures or I think I'd already taken my phone off the stand, and I thought, okay, well, I'll just put the, the eyebrows in. Maybe it's in the photos, I don't know. And coloring those pink cheeks again, and just doing some highlights and making her feel normal, a little bit more realistic, I guess, or just a little bit more dimension. And I've also gone in with a normal coloring in pencil and added a little bit more darkness around the shadowy bits on her face. I gave her some pearls around her top there, just to zhoosh them up slightly. And now I'm going in with my Stabilo All pencil, and I'm just going to make a little bit of shadow work around her head, here and there. I'm not going around the whole girl, and I'm not going with a very dark shadow either. I'm trying to blend it out. I just want her to pop off that background just a touch more. So not going too dark, because I really, really like that background. And I think there's already quite a bit of contrast between the girl and the background, but this is just a little something extra. And still faffing with the paint pens. I think I'm coming, oh yes, pearls in the hair. I do love a pearl in my girl's hair. Often add them, probably most of the times that I do girls with pretty hair, I'll add some little pearls in. I really like the way that that looks. And now I'm just looking for a little scrap of paper to give her a heart. I always add a little heart to my girls or my figures. Let's say figures. I don't think I've ever used a man in my work, but let's say figures for the future, for in case I ever do use a man. I'm finding a quote, and the quote says, your thoughts are colored by your, no, something, your thoughts are colored by what you love. Yes, I was going to say your thoughts are colored by by your thoughts, but it's by what you love. I'm quickly chopping them up into little bits. I didn't want them to just be one line. I did want that quote to be scattered around that area there. And once I'm done, I will do a little doodly border around them and add some more scribbles around my quotes, just here and there. I do a little kind of leafy, loopy bit around them sometimes. And then I also brought that leafy, loopy bit around the girl. And then finally, I'm going to take the rub-ons, and I'm just going to give her a little tattoo on her neck there. Use some of the scripty font ones, and I also did a little flower just on the side of her neck there. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Have you played with this face yet? Have you tried altering these faces to make them your own? I'd love to know what you feel about that. Are you happy to just use them as is? Let me know. If you are new, please subscribe to my channel. Go back and watch all of my other videos. There's lots on there. And I will chat to you again very soon. Okay, bye.